Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajalee, before I even get started, I realize I don't say it as much as it needs to be said. Thank you to everyone who's donated, who's purchased my books or my soap, because it is my determination to test our food for radiation. Nobody else is. Even people out there who claim independence, and I mean those with a certain amount of capital. The ordinary person can't set up a full-fledged spectrogram sensitive lab so that they could test food for radiation. But there are certain key persons who they are set up so that they can test food, and they claim to be public advocates, yet they are not doing that. And so I want to thank you because I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I need to show folks what your support and your donations has gifted me with an ability to study radiation on an in-depth level that I kind of can just tell by the content of our media, even in the places that are underground. I have respect for all persons who are genuine, working on our behalf in any capacity possible, but nobody else is studying radiation. And the more I study, the more I learn exactly how deadly that neglect is on our parts. And so I just want to thank you, because all these books right here, I ain't got no job. My job is working for you and your family's health. And so these books are because of your donations and your purchases. And this one right here, which I can't believe this book. The thing is I love doing this research, so that's a benefit. If you go to a doctor, you surely want to go to a doctor who loves practicing medicine, hopefully one who loves practicing real medicine, like my king, Dr. Z. I'm trying just to call him Dr. Z because that's what he deserves very much. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm almost finished with this, and there's this one section here that I couldn't even, with other sections I have, my highlights, and I got so many tabs on this baby. But I'm talking about this section right here where it goes over the false-based imprisonment of Dr. Yuri Bandashevsky and the games that the Russian and the Belarusian government played with his mind in order to break him. And it was very effective, and they laid out the strategy succinctly. Those are the games that they're playing with Black you and me. And that is how that fits in with talking about Pearl Davis. I don't know what her last name is. I don't really care about that chick. But I care about examining the strategy that is being waged to destroy us in ways that we may not even be aware of. Where you have the just absolute embarrassment of the so-called black manosphere, which everything on social media is controlled by our enemy. And many of them in that section of the internet who are defending Pearl and what she, from Brother J-Dog, and I thank him for his share that he did. I'm going to post the link to it at the bottom of my pinned comments. And also Mad Black TV, and I thank him for the shout out. I thank them for just being a face of black male sanity, which is just prevalent. And I thank them for what they do, because I know there's got to be times when both those brothers are just like, look, I am not interested in these silly folks up here, but wonderfully they do address it because it's being used as a wedge to cause division amongst us. And that is the purpose of Pearly Things, where it's not as even as obvious, like when I was talking about the swirling switcheroo. I wonder if in the future, with the swirlers, because two very large luminary ones, not luminary in a good way either, but have married black men after trashing black men for so long. So I wonder if they're trying to regain street creds so they can make that leap into larger mainstream media. I've seen they've been invited into different platforms that have that national broadcast capacity. And whereas Candace, I always keep wanting to call her Procyon Loader Dance, Candace Owens is looking really lonely up there, so she's not effective because the overwhelming majority of black us are not Procyon Loaters. We love being black. That is, other than Fukushima, the most hidden reality of our world today, that there are huge quantities of black people who, even if they're afraid to embrace the totality of being pro-black, when that's the only solution to anything that's happening to us, but on a key point, they're falling in love with being black. They want to be with a black mate. They want a fully black family. When you go and you look at these different platforms that celebrate black love, even if they never mention anything revolutionary, that's the most revolutionary thing you can do, is to be a full-on participant in perpetuating our continuation on this planet, which is ours. So you have a lot of black people who are just completely overcome with joy at being black, want to remain black, don't want biracial babies. So what is the owner of all of these platforms to do? But these people, and I'm talking about the white folks, they strategize for as long as they can. Not as long as the one and only, but they do strategize. So when I look at the swirlers with the switcheroo thingamajig, I'm saying they're trying to legitimize them so that probably later on they could come out and re-attack the black man. Maybe even get divorces and say, see, we tried. Well, it's my conclusion when it comes to Pearly Things, her purpose is long term, not her specifically, because she don't own herself. White people, especially when they're operating with the instructions from the CIA, I'm not saying whether she is or she isn't, but definitely from what I've read here and in all the different books I've read, Operation Mockingbird doesn't just sequester itself to mainstream media. There are agents and operatives stuffed in social media platforms, from large size platforms all the way down to just common ordinary people. You're more than likely amongst common ordinary people, us, going to find genuine advocates for our liberation and total complete ability to determine our own destiny, our own narrative. So within all of that, the purpose of Just Pearly Things is not merely to, bring in a large audience for herself so that she can, because as Brother Mad Black TV mentioned, that like all of these Becky chicks, I don't like to use the name Karen, but all of these Becky chicks out here they do that flip like Miley Cyrus. Although we so black, we with these black people just enough so they can propel themselves up to the next level, and then they just forget about her. So Pearly's interview with Nick Fuentes might be the beginning of that. Brother J-Dog had mentioned that she's out there in the black manosphere saying slavery wasn't so bad. I'm like, oh, so you gonna volunteer then, huh, Pearly? Because it's not that bad, huh? You're gonna volunteer your whole rich family then. Well, then I guess Amish country is gonna have a few less participants, because that chick, I'm just like, horse and buggy, where is it? But anyway, so her purpose is not just to lure in an audience, though. It is also to create further wedges within our burgeoning self-love, black self-love, where Brother Chris did another share where he was talking about how there are, simps out there who justify their own cowardliness by blaming everything that they don't want with choosing a black woman partner. Well, they want to blame that on Cynthia G. And I did a share on my other channel a long time ago where I said, please do not use Cynthia G as the titular voice of black women. That's her portion of the setup. Especially when she came out, she wants to abort all black male fetuses. Everybody knows that's a psychopathic thing to say. Most black women would never advocate for anything of the sort. I could walk down my own block and ask every single sister I know, and ones I don't know. I would be at it for days before I found a black woman who believes such a thing. And you'll see them get up, like I read in Brother Mad Black's comments, where there was one person leaving a comment saying, she never said that. Yes, she did. I heard it myself. But they'll try to, lessen it, because in the middle of these operatives do want to keep their audience. They do want to make money, because that CIA paycheck is based on their ability to garner in followers. Even, they do use that Chinese fish farming type of thing. I don't know what the heck is called necessary. I don't think it may be fish farming, but where they just get false numbers. But at the same time, they are also highly supported by this white-controlled, genocidal social media platform, all of them. And on top of that, they bring in an audience that is going to be mostly white, but also is just drawn to the conflict of it, the aspect. A lot of people come up here for entertainment. And that's going to get them killed, because they're not paying attention to those platforms that are the best ones or the small ones, and are here to give you genuine, helpful knowledge and remedies. Okay, so go to 25,000 Year Cycle, because I ain't joking. Matter of fact, I want to share a meme. I hope you read that, because I wonder, in all of the ways that they shadow ban, which that's just established, that's not us being paranoid, but yeah, they I noticed with that meme where I'm like, that's one hell of a quote, where the co-developer of the atomic bomb, the original atomic bomb, admitted that low-level radiation is deadly, and it's not experimental, it's not guesswork, they know it. So he said there should be a Nuremberg trial for him and all the others who know, because it's not experimentation, it's murder. And they're shipping Fukushima food in. So I was like, 6 people hit like on that, and then I start thinking about Dr. Yuri Bandashevsky, and I don't know, I don't make any conclusions, because these people are always looking for a way in to turn you away from your faith in goodness, in reality. And I'm not about to let the devil have that control over me. So I perpetuate and continue my optimism. However, when I look at 6 likes, I think that's got to be because you didn't get that meme. All right? But I don't know. I don't know. I'm always going to work on our behalf, but that's why I just wanted to show you your continued support, both in hitting like and financially, is powerful, because I'm not going to stop. I obviously haven't. Now, all of that said, the other aspect, as I was mentioning, is to create a wedge so that now, unlike the brothers, not the brothers, the cowards out there, who are using Cynthia G to say, oh, look, Cynthia's the reason why we can't find any good black women, because they're all Cynthia G. And there's no baby. There's no baby. That was all a psyop, false flag campaign for publicity. Ain't no baby, right? But now we sisters get to look at the black manosphere, and they're going to be agents and operatives who will then use that to trash all black men. And as if all black men are up in the black manosphere. Same thing with Cynthia G. You got, and Pearly things. You got plenty of folks out there who are subscribed to that channel because it's heavily, all those channels, because they're heavily promoted, and also because they got fake subscribers, but also they're just there to see the fecal matter show. And that's the purpose of Pearly things, is to cause chaos and destruction. The devil needs you to pay attention. He doesn't care if it's good attention or bad attention, as long as at the end of it you feel overwhelmed by the chaotic circus of it all, and you wind up feeling hopeless, feeling, what's the matter with black folks? What's the matter with us? Huh? And yes, of course, we've got the devil who's been in charge of our concept of who we are for generations. But Allah is the greatest, because despite that, you can't stop the natural desire to love what you were born to be, especially when your connection through that melanin is so potent that this right here, this is our wealth. This is our wealth. The Most High put it in a lockbox that is very difficult to get into and rob that wealth. They're doing their daggone best. And that is to just bring that wedge in so that you have doubts that you're ever going to find a significant other opposite sex mate that is deserving of you putting in your best character over a lifetime. But I want to say another aspect of this is Allah is undeniable. Even if you think you want to deny him, even if you are in the midst of looking for a mate, you're like, oh, that's it, I'm giving up on black people, I'm giving up on mates, like the, save yourself, black men idiots. That yearning for connection eats through every resistance you may have, so that you do wind up feeling lonely, feeling a yearning for somebody to just be a witness to your life, to cherish you through your highs and lows, as long as you're sane and you're not a lunatic. That is just ubiquitous. That's with all of us. And yet, if you've got this chaos and this pessimistic, surface on top of that, that yearning doesn't go away. And thereby it becomes misdirected or vulnerable to then usurper coming in, or a target, an individual targeting you, a groomer, and then they can lead you to all sorts of conclusions, because that energy insists on getting something done, getting stuff moving. Whether it goes positive or negative, it doesn't abate. It's still there. And thereby, when you see the chaos, that yearning, it can implode on you, where you just have an overall sense of loserification. I know that's not a word, I'm just saying, where you then conclude you're worthless, and you could buy into the societal narrative that we, black people, are the worst people on the planet, when nothing historically or currently happening. Ask the 9 billion missing crabs, that means they're just extinct on the West Coast. Nothing of the sort supports the idea that we are the worst people on the planet. And thereby, someone like a Pearly thinks her purpose is to perpetuate and continue our self-doubt overall, outside of the black manosphere, just to have a non-stop feeling of a battle, an endless battle. That is tiring, so that we can't focus. That's one of the things, being with Dr. Z for 14 years now, and this has been heaven. What I've seen happen is I'm able to focus on other things. It quiets that energy, that need to find out, well, who's my significant other? Where am I going to find that, because we're like atoms, but we're, need to make that covalent bond so that we're stable. That's what happens in a relationship where you are understood, not in a relationship where you're a pet and you're appeasing the fragility of the people who can't stand you. No, where you are bonded in an equal distribution of your natures, and it's going to have its little ups and downs, but at the same time, that helps you to calm down. That helps you to be a benefit to not only just your family and that black love relationship, but to us as a people. Even if you don't volunteer, which is a fabulous thing to do, I support still. Striving together equals progress, a STEP program. Please go assist them in helping them fight keeping the building that they are renovating completely, restoring the entire building. And Newark City is fighting them because their program is so successful. They help young black men navigate this hell, and so that they are fully men, and they love the black woman. That's a beautiful thing. And so I can't remember what I was saying. I was doing real well all the way through, but here we go. It calms down so that you get things done when you are in that righteous relationship. Of course, you can still get things done if you're single. I'm just saying, they want you, if you're single, to feel as if it's hopeless. When no, I run into amazing single black men, single black women on the constant. But you just got to be in the right circles. You got to be focused on building, and that's where you're going to meet building black people. They wind up wasting your time, and that's one less child that has an opportunity to be born, because wasting your time through your most productive youthful years is a form of genocide. Okay, I think I said enough. This was long. Oh, not too long yet, but with the thing with the books, yeah. Go to 25000yearcycle.org, where you can purchase Dr. Z's amazing products. I watch that brother. I don't support nobody if they are not righteous and just for us. And I see him putting his concoctions together, and he's got the equipment. His office is not an office, it's his lab. You know, not with the massives. We don't have a spectrogram up in there. But at the same time, he puts the best of ingredients in there. He studies constantly, goes out, he works, comes home, and then there he is studying the dynamics of our melanated bodies and just science altogether, physiology, anatomy, just biology altogether. He's amazing. And you can find my products there also. Your support gave me the ability to get the real knowledge, the real facts, so I could put it in a book specifically for Black us. You helped me to produce this for us. So I appreciate you very, very much. Straight Black family pride, and we're out of here. They won't even remember choking on our dust. Peace and blessings. Love you.